It would appear as though Adam Azim has now officially ducked Dalton Smith. First of all, we had the announcement on Sunday night during the Wardley Clark show that Azim intends to fight Harlem Eubank. Both guys got in the ring with their representatives and had a face-off. And then we've had an interview with Eddie Hearn on his Matchroom YouTube channel where he says he's received notice from the EBU that Adam Azim is relinquishing his European title. And obviously, Dalton Smith is mandatory for that title. So there you go. It appears as though Adam Azim has now officially ducked. Now, with that being said, I've got no issue with Adam Azim going in a different direction, fighting Harlem Eubank or whoever else instead of Dalton Smith per se. He is a very young fighter, a very green fighter, needs a lot of seasoning. I just don't like the way Azim and his team have been hyping things up like they're ready for world level competition right now, and then turn around and duck Dalton Smith, give up the EBU belt and fight Harlem Eubank instead. Don't mess the public around like that. That's all I'll say. Now, in terms of a fight with Harlem Eubank, it's yet another example of Azim's people putting him in there against a guy who doesn't have a puncher's record. Harlem Eubank is 19-0 with 8 KOs. Bear in mind, he's been matched very carefully. It's not like he's one of these blue-collar fighters who gets matched tough early. No, Harlem Eubank has been matched very carefully against circuit journeymen coming up, against knockover jobs early on, and he still only has 8 KOs in 19 fights. Also bear in mind that Harlem Eubank is 30 years of age. It's not like he's some young guy who's yet to find his man strength. Now, I'm always the first to say that KO percentage isn't always an accurate indication of how hard somebody can hit, but it is an indication of how prolific somebody is with their power. Whatever power Harlem Eubank has, he isn't very successful at scoring knockouts with it. His last fight was against a guy called Timo Schwarzkopf, who he did stop in the 11th round, and that was the first time Schwarzkopf has ever been stopped. But if you look at Schwarzkopf's record, he hasn't really been in with any punches before. He's fought some good fighters, but again, not big punchers, the likes of Miguel Vasquez, former world champion, the likes of Chris Van Heerden, the likes of Anthony Yidgit, so on and so forth. So for Harlem Eubank to stop him in the penultimate round, it isn't necessarily a strong indication of serious punching power. Also, one thing I noticed, and I'm sure all of you noticed at the face-off between Adam Azim and Harlem Eubank, is how much smaller Harlem Eubank looks compared to Azim. And that's another thing that we've seen in a lot of Adam Azim's fights, is they match him against guys who look absolutely tiny in comparison. I remember when he fought Ryland Charlton, it literally looked like Azim was about 3 weight classes above Charlton. Now, what I will say though is Harlem Eubank probably will be the best boxer that Adam Azim will have fought so far as a professional. He's certainly a guy that will be coming to win. He's athletic, he's somewhat tricky, he might be able to make an argument of it, but I suspect that Azim, with the combination of size, youth, speed, power, and athleticism, will be a little too much for Harlem Eubank and perhaps outpoint him. But that fight is yet to be confirmed. They're in negotiations currently, but it looks like the direction they want to go in. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comment section below. Am I selling Harlem Eubank short here? Is he going to prove me wrong? Also, what do you think about Adam Azim apparently relinquishing the EBU title, ducking Dalton Smith after all the big talk about fighting world beaters? Give me your thoughts in the comment section. And before I go, some of you have been asking for my post-fight thoughts on Vidal Riley versus Mikhail Lawal, Chris Kongo versus Florian Marku, Erislandy Lara versus Michael Zarafa, and so on. I actually uploaded all of that to my Patreon page a couple of days ago. So if you want to access it, as well as all of my other extra boxing content, download the Patreon app from the Play Store or the App Store. Head on over to my page, which is called The Brotherhood of Reason, and select the boxing tier. There's no contract, no commitment. You can cancel at any time, just like Netflix, but it's a whole lot cheaper. So yeah, check out my Patreon page for my extra boxing content. We've also got a members chat and what have you. And of course, my non-boxing content is also available on there on a different tier if you're interested in that. All the relevant links are in the description box below.